Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeff, and you are once again attending another session of the Schwa Mill today, where we take a look at your pronunciation in American English. So you can see that we are back today in the normal studio, things like that. Finished some traveling, seeing family, and things. But of course, today we're back to looking at your pronunciation, just like we do every single Saturday at this time. You will see at the top of the chat box what you're going to see are a couple of sentences that you can practice saying. And if you want to send in audio files of yourselves saying these sentences, what you can do is go to the very top link, which will take you to a document where you can send in your own files and things like that, which we will be listening to. Some quick hellos, of course. Hello to our our nameless, faceless friend. Great to see you as always. The first one, of course. Emmanuel's checking in as always. Good to see you, sir. Ramez is checking in again. Hello to Saudi. Hello to our friend Immigrant Mimo. Cool. Great to have you back. Great to see you again. And Shok, another hello to Saudi Arabia. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so pretty well spread out today in terms of regions and things, as always. And let's get right into it in terms of the sentences. One thing you will see in common with each of these phrases are things that you can say if you want to ask someone to get some food or get something to drink, and things like that. See, this is the same question. Rameza is asking the important questions. These are the same ones that I have. I don't even know how that's possible. The faceless one I can get, but the nameless one, I have no idea how you can just enter a space and it not show up. I am always impressed by that ability. Let's take a look though at our first sentence. Again, both of these are asking for phrases that you can use if you're asking someone if they want something food or something drink related. Okay. So our first one, do you want to grab a bite? Do you want to grab a bite? Okay. Um, you could also say a bite to eat, just a note. You could say a bite to eat, but you could also just say grab a bite. Okay. This naturally means grab something to eat, grab some food. That's another thing. You could also say grab some grub. Lots of different synonyms and phrases you could use in place to suggest food or eating. And of course, I remember you. Why? How could I forget? It's great to see you back. You never know when people are going to come back to a live stream, so it's great when it happens. If you know other people that would be interested in getting some pronunciation help, feel free to let them know what's happening. But in our first sentence to say, so did you want to grab a bite? So a couple things here. So first, this is a yes/no question. You can tell by the did you. And if you're not familiar with that phrase, a yes/no question means that the answer is very anticlimactically yes or no. And to signify that in American English, what we are going to do is we are going to use a rising intonation on our last word. And if you don't know what that means, rising intonation, see if you can hear the difference between these. It's like rise, or I'll use another word, this, and this. The first one, this, is rising intonation. The second one, this, is falling intonation. Okay, we have lots of videos that talk about that. I know our friend over at English Hacks. I forget the full channel name of his. It's a long name, but Josh over at English Hacks. He's doing a whole series on intonation. So if you want some more practice with that too, feel free to take a look and see what he says. You can also see what we have on our channel as well for intonation practice. But rising intonation is what you would expect in a neutral, contextless situation. It's like, did you want to grab a bite? Besides that, some other things that you want to be paying attention to. Let's talk about some linking things that are a little interesting. It's like, did you? So the least common way to say it would probably be did you? Did you? That's not very common. Some more frequent ways you're going to hear that said would be did you? Did you? So notice again that when a d sound links with a y sound, it becomes softer, like a ch. It's like did you? Did you? Okay, so that's one option you could do to link that together. Another common option though that you'll see for linking that would be actually making just a very short form like Jew, Jew, almost like, for instance, like the religion, like Judaism, like Jew, Jew, like Juana. Um, and another option that you may hear a lot too is actually just removing the auxiliary verb. This is very common in spoken English where auxiliary verbs like do and the verb to be are often just removed. So instead of just saying, did you want to, you can just say, you want to grab? You want to grab a bite to eat? Okay, so that's another very common way you will hear that being said. So just three different options there to kind of play around with. That'll be more common. Um, in terms of stress, I think the major word that you're probably going to stress here, do you want to grab a bite? Just bite. You could get away with just one stress here. Just stress bite. Okay. In terms of some vowel sounds things. Oh, we should go, before that, let's go back to linking a little bit. So, want to oftentimes is not pronounced like that. It can be. It's like want to grab a bite, but it very often comes just like wanna grab a bite, wanna grab a bite. Notice that there's more linking involved though. It's like grab a. Okay. So notice that that B on grab often is going to attach onto that A that follows it. It's like instead of grab a, it's more grab a. Ooh, God, that's a tough start. 1 second. Sorry about that. Grab a bite. This is another practice that you can do in terms of pitches. So the other is going to be super reduced between grab and bite. So one way you can really emphasize, quote unquote, the reduction is really lower that pitch there. It's like grab a bite, grab a. Notice that grab a. Go really low on that sound. Okay, one thing I see with a lot of students is they're not going low enough. Their pitches aren't going as low as they can. So one thing that can really help add some contrast to your speech, make yourself more understandable, is just add some low pitches to yourself. Okay, so like that's a great opportunity with that grab a to sound a little more natural. Grab a bite. So do you want to grab a bite? Do you want to grab a bite? Some other things here since we mentioned pitch. Hello to Rodrigo checking in. I know I butchered those R sounds. I'm sorry with Portuguese. Sorry. But it's great to see you here. Okay. And I don't even know if I can acknowledge that name. If you're here for American English, though, it's great to have you, I guess. What if you slightly raised the pitch on wanna? Did you want to grab a bite? Like if I do something like that, Emmanuel, did you want to grab a bite? Did you want to grab a bite? So did you want to grab a bite? If you raise the pitch on want, my only fear is that it adds some uncertainty in the sense of like, hey, like I'm gonna go eat something. Like, did you want to grab a bite or no? Like it's almost like an ultimatum of sorts. And so it makes this situation sound a little bit less neutral to me if you put the stress there. Okay, so just a note on that. Possible, yeah. We can also see in your audio file if you raise that pitch on wanna, we can see how that sounds. But again, I think the most likely stress there would actually again be bite in a neutral situation. Some vowel sounds that you want to be mindful of course. Did with the short I sound, so that it's like did. Other things too. The ah sound on want, want, want. The ah sound on grab. This is working with a student on this. This ah sound is very tricky. A lot of languages do not have an ah sound, so just make sure that your lips are being pulled enough to the corners. Okay, ah. Okay, and make sure that while you're doing that too, that your placement's low enough. So it's not it's more ah. This can be difficult, for instance, for French speakers out there and things like that. You want to watch out for that. Okay. Also want to make sure that the middle of your tongue is high for that ah sound too. Ah. And then lastly for bite. So this is our stressed word. So make sure again that I sound okay. I, bite. Notice too that if you're saying bite, that really strong at the end, that's okay. But most often when you hear native speakers talk, you're not going to hear that T sound. Instead, it's going to be held. So instead of saying bite, you'll hear just like bite. Okay. So not releasing the breath and shortening your vi sound. So for instance, one thing you compare is buy versus bite, and see if you can hear a difference between these words. So, for instance, that first word, buy. Second word, bite. Buy, bite, buy, bite. Can you hear a difference between those? Let me know in the chat if you can hear a difference between I and ite. I, ite. That second one again, you're shortening your vowel sound and not releasing the breath. Let me know how well you can hear that though. If you're having trouble hearing the difference between those, that's okay. That just lets you know of something that is worth studying. This concept is called a held T, also called a stop T situation. So definitely something worth exploring because it's extremely common in American English. Going back to Emmanuel's comment about the raising the pitch on wanna. Did you wanna grab? Did you wanna grab a bite? Did you wanna grab? I think that if you did it like that, I think that can work. Did you wanna grab? But another thing in terms of flow is that I think it helps you to flow better though if you get that pitch a little lower. Did you want to grab a bite? Yeah, personally. Yeah. So he's saying, Manuel's letting me know I wanted to have some contrast between wanna and to grab. I don't know if I actually accidentally stressed wanna. Okay, so that's definitely something that we'll be paying attention to. I don't. You want to grab a bite? You want to grab a. I think in general, in terms of pitches, it's okay to have in this situation because none of these words is stressed. You can get away with having relatively similar pitches there, like wanna grab, did you wanna grab? One thing that helps to separate them is notice on wanna, that second syllable has a lower pitch, like wanna grab, wanna grab. So rather than raising the pitch on want, I think what you can do is actually just lower the pitch on the and that will help make sure that things are sounding separate. Yeah, but those would be my suggestions for that. We get to question 2. Is T necessary to pronounce in bite? No, it is not necessary to pronounce that T in bite. Again, it's probably more common to not hear it. Again, more likely to hear bite than bite. Just things like that. Okay. All right, if you guys have other questions about our first sentence, which again, you can see right here, feel free to let me know. I think we covered most of the things though you want to be keeping in mind to get a natural sound there. We're going to have some similar things too with our second one as well. In the sense, this is also a yes/no question. So that means we're also going to have some of that rising intonation going high. Okay. Can I interest you? And this is a phrase that you can start off with lots of different requests. If you want to ask someone if they want to do something with you, like, hey, can I interest you? I don't know, in tickets to this game, or like in a concert. Can I interest you in a meal, a dinner, something like that? But can I interest you in a cup of coffee? Can I interest you in a cup of coffee? I would personally probably have 2 stresses for this. Okay. Actually, with that word, so you could actually use a held T for that as well before the L. Just a note. But going back to our sentence here, can I interest you in a cup of coffee? Can I interest you? Interest getting stressed. Cup of coffee. Also, coffee getting stressed as well. Those would be places where I would personally put emphasis. Let's talk a little bit about linking. First place where I would see linking would be the can I. And in fact, that often will get reduced too. You can say can I, okay, but you can also say can I. This is almost like taking off the A and can, just doing can I, okay. Can I interest you? We already have some questions too that I see. Okay. And Rodrigo, I'll talk about this in one moment. Just give me a second, okay? But talking about interest, since I'm on that word. How do you pronounce interest? I use it just, yeah, interest. That's going to be probably the most common way. I think there's other ways, but the most common way you're going to hear it pronounced will be with a slight TH sound. Okay. Interest, trist. It's like a CH followed by an R sound. Interest. Okay. Can I interest you? Notice that too. It sounds like it has more of a short I sound. It's like wrist, like your body part, like your wrist right here. Okay. Interest. Can I interest you? Can I interest you? Notice how fast that is, that first part. Can I interest you? In a cup of coffee, in a cup, Notice again, the pitch is like in cut. It's like in midpoint, going down, cut, rising, in a cup, in a cup of coffee, in a cup of coffee. It's like in a cup of coffee. Okay, in a cup of coffee. Can I just you in a cup of coffee? Okay. You also get some link in there too, right? You in a, and then cuppa. So of oftentimes will just get reduced to just a. It's like cup of coffee. Make sure on coffee, ka first syllable, you can either use an a sound like coffee, or you may also hear the aw sound like coffee, cup of coffee, or cup of coffee. You'll hear either one of those. Okay, just a note on the vowels there. Okay. And also make sure for coffee at the end with that E sound, making sure that you're holding it, but also keeping the placement low. So it's not coffee, it's coffee, coffee. Okay. Can I interest you in a cup of coffee? Those would be my major suggestions there for saying that sentence. Okay. Shoot. Question here about linking interest with you. Yes, you could use another CH sound as well. So you could say interest you, or you could say interest you. Can I interest you in a, or interest you in a cop? Again, you can use either interest you in a, or interest you in a. So you can also use a held sound if you'd like. Because just a note there. I think that's absolutely possible. I know I missed a question from Hugo. Isn't the letter T that's used at the end of a word called a flap T? Not quite a flap T, because a flap T is going to, well, it kind of depends on what word comes after. A flap T or fast D sounds more like the letter D pronounced very quickly. It's like, for instance, consider a word like for instance, better. Better would have what we call like a flap T, fast D sound. Better, better. Okay. So that'll be one example. You can use that sound across words if your word, for instance, is ending on a T sound and the next word starts with a vowel sound. Like, trying to think of an example. How about the phrase, for instance, like it is? It is. Well, in this case, yeah. I could use a held sound. I could say it is. I could do that. Or I could use a flap sound. It's like it is. It is. Okay. So in that situation, because the T is followed by a vowel and there's a vowel before it, I could use a flap T sound. Okay. Just a note on that. Also, in terms of the name, yeah, it'll be a short I sound, like hit. Sound like hit, hit. And notice that there, that hit ends on a. If you just have hit, it ends on a. Again, ends on a T. So you could just use a held sound. Hit, hit. Okay. All right. See if anyone else missed any questions here. Hopefully, for all those who ask questions, thank you. I appreciate it. Those are the main things I see. Cool. All right. We are about to take a look then at your pronunciation files. Just a quick note, though. If you find all of the help that we do today, if you find that useful for your own pronunciation and things like that, then I really encourage you, check out our pronunciation group on Telegram. We take a look every single day at your pronunciation. Basically, kind of like today, I give you sentences or I give you words to say. We listen to them, and then I give you some suggestions. There's also another instructor there named Lenora. She's great. Worked with her for years. She also provides pronunciation feedback too. So if you're trying to get pronunciation feedback every single day from 2 American English instructors, that's definitely an opportunity that I encourage you to check out. To find out more information, go to patreon.com/fluentamerican. You can also join the Telegram group by becoming a channel member, and you can see an option to do that right below this video where it says join. Okay, so definitely something to take a look at there. All right, but you guys didn't come here just to hear me blather on and on and on and things like that. We're getting visits from all kinds of people today. You can say got with a flap T. Like, for instance, if you say like gotta, like, oh, like I got a dog. Again, similar situation. That T is surrounded by vowels, so you could use a flap T sound for that. Okay, if you wanted. But if got is followed by a consonant sound, like a got, you could say like, for instance, like got cold. Like, oh, I got cold. Okay. In that case, again, you would use a held sound. Okay. All right. All kinds of characters showing up, which is a great opportunity for us to take a look again at your pronunciation files. Let's see what we have today. Oh, let me add myself there, right? Again, it's not little, it's more little.
The G host was class.
Are you feeling that here, or here? All right, so you'll see I have put on my headphones and things like that, so that way I will be able to hear you guys in addition to see you guys. Okay. Just note my son is somewhere in the background, so you may hear him a bit making some noise. And Manuel makes a note to all famous dictators today wish to learn American English pronunciation, which is cool. Like we applaud anyone's efforts to learn American English. We are here to help and support the best way that we can. Let me share my screen so you guys can see our files and we can get into helping you. Okay, so this is again the document where you can submit your own pronunciation, where we can take a look and things like that. Okay, you'll see that there will be the 2 sentences that you can take a look at. And then in addition to that, it will give you directions using vocaroo.com where you can send in your pronunciation files. And that way we can hear you, because it's hard to give feedback if we don't know what you sound like, right? Okay. So let's listen to, I already have a lot of files loaded up. If you've just submitted a file recently, give me a moment because I will need to just review the file, just make sure it's appropriate for our audience and things like that. Appreciate your understanding. Let's begin with this one over here, though. Whoops, I don't think I'm sharing my audio. Rewind. Give me 1 second, guys. It's not helpful if you can't hear what I'm hearing. There we go. Okay. Take 2. Let's listen.
Do you want to grab a bite?
Okay.
Do you want to grab a bite?
Okay. Give me 1 second to play it one more time.
Do you want to grab a bite?
Okay. I'll also be recording sections of this, by the way, guys, so that way I can make a short version. One more time.
Do you want to grab a bite?
Do you want to grab a bite? Do you want to grab a bite? That's a very long pause in the middle there.
Do you want to grab a bite?
Because that's probably the easiest thing I can say is take off that pause in the middle. So like grab a bite. Can you do like grab a bite? Do you want to grab a bite? That's going to be the very first suggestion. But besides that, in terms of sound,
grab a bite?
Do you wanna grab a?
Do you wanna grab a?
That rhythm there to me feels a little bit strange. Do you wanna grab a? Do you wanna grab a?
Do you wanna grab a bite?
Yeah, so I would definitely say that do you wanna grab a? I don't think you need to go as high with the did. Like again, I probably wouldn't say do you wanna grab a or do you wanna grab a? Do you wanna grab a? I would keep everything a little bit lower personally. Do you wanna grab a? Do you wanna grab a? Do you wanna grab a bite? Do you wanna grab a? I would keep that first. Pretty much almost every word I would keep at a slightly lower pitch, and then on bite, that's my opportunity to go up a little higher in terms of pitch. Do you want to grab a bite? Do you want to grab a bite? Besides that,
do you want to grab a bite?
In terms of linking, I think you're doing some good things with linking.
Do you want to grab a?
Do you want to, like, so you can hear that do you want to, and then wanna also has some linking there too, right? Wanna, and then grab a. Okay, grab a. You could probably weaken the B sound a little bit. It doesn't need to be like grab a, it could be more grab a, so it could be a little bit softer on your B. Okay, one way you can try to soften that is to repeat it several times, like say grab a, like 3 times, like grab a, grab a, grab a, grab a, grab a, grab a. And if you find that you're saying grab a, grab a, grab a, and things like that, that's a sign that your B sound, your consonants are a little bit too strong. So you want to try to link those together a little bit more. Okay. But yeah, do you want to grab a bite? Do you want to grab a bite? Play that again.
Do you want to grab a bite?
Okay. Yep. So those would be my big suggestions there. If anything isn't clear, be sure to let me know. But thank you so much for sending that file. I do appreciate it. Okay, 1 second. So that's our first one. Let's take a look in the middle here.
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
I like the ending is very mysterious, which I like. Hang on. You heard this ending again.
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Cup of coffee. You took that really high at the end. So it's almost like it doesn't sound so much like a. It sounds like an innocent question, but almost with a little twist at the end. Coffee sounds a little suspicious. Like, what do you want to do exactly? What's your plan there?
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Coffee, like versus can I interest you in a cup of coffee? You could have just kept it at about the same level, like the stress you have on interest, kept the pitch at about the same level there instead of going extra height. Okay. Let me hear it again.
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Coffee versus coffee. Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Okay, but besides that, I appreciate the play with the intonation, Emmanuel. I do appreciate that.
Can I interest you?
Can I interest you? I do think I want to hear interest again.
Can I interest you?
I feel like I'm hearing interest versus interest. Is there a way? Can you get more of a little bit more short eye on that? Because I still feel like I'm hearing interest versus interest. And I think the big thing is that just sounds to me like your placement's kind of jumping up. And that's how you're going to in versus n. Can I interest? Can I interest you? Can I interest you? Okay. So that's one thing I would say take a look at.
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
In a cup of. I do like your pitch change here. So notice that for this in a cup of, that part's lowering the pitches, and I think that's giving you a natural sound there.
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
In a cup of. Can I interest you in a cup of? I like that. I like that movement that you did there.
Interest you in a cup of coffee?
Yeah. And then, so coffee again, I'll just tone that down just a little bit because I think it's going to be a little bit too suggestive there. I'll just tone that down. Especially if you have someone that you want to say this to. You want to invite out.
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Cup of coffee. I like your link with the cuppa too. Yeah. Yeah, those are gonna be my main suggestions there. Hopefully that's clear. Lots of good stuff with the linking. I like you're playing around with pitches. Again, we've noticed that in the last few live streams. I know you're experimenting with the pitches and things. So continuing to be mindful of that. I like what you're doing. Keep it up. Just don't go too crazy on the intonation. It's good to experiment. Appreciate that aspect of it. I think in this case, the experiment maybe went a little bit too high. Okay. But thank you so much, Emmanuel. I appreciate that as always. One sec. All right, where is the file that we're looking at? Okay. By the way, again, I see Mimo and Vladimir. Vladimir has added a pronunciation file, which is this could go a million different ways. Oh my god. But anyways, let's take a look at this one here.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Do you want to grab a bite? Did you want to grab a bite? Okay, let's listen to this one again. Let's hear this again.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Did you want to grab a bite? Did you want to grab a bite?
Did you want to grab a bite?
Bite? Bite? Bite? Okay. Did you want to grab a bite? The bite sounds just a little bit unique.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Did you want to grab a... Did you want to... So this is the wanna that you mentioned earlier about going a little bit high, right?
Did you want to grab a bite?
Did you want to... Did you want to grab a...
Did you want to grab...
Did you want to... I don't necessarily have an issue with that. I think it can sound okay. Did you want to...
Did you want to grab a bite?
Did you want to grab a... Did you want to grab a...
Want to grab a bite?
Grab a bite? The grab a after it, though, sounds a little bit... Let's see.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Did you want to... Did you want to... Did you want to grab a... Did you want to... something to me just sounds. I just think you wouldn't be as likely to hear this pattern. I'm trying to identify why.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Grab a bite? Should you wanna grab a bite? Did you wanna grab a bite? Did you wanna grab a bite? Did you wanna grab a bite? Can that sound okay? Did you wanna grab a bite? Did you wanna grab a bite? Maybe it's the bite. The pitch again is just going so high.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Did you wanna grab a bite? Bite? Did you wanna grab a bite? Want to grab a bite? Yeah, I don't. I think the part of the issue is again using that higher pitch on wanna. I think can work, but it's causing some other parts of the sentence to use patterns that I think are less frequent and slightly less natural sounding. Versus, did you want to grab a bite? Did you want to grab a bite? You know, I would have been curious to see how this sounded if we had kept the pitch lower on wanna. Honestly,
Did you want to grab a bite?
did you want to grab a bite? Versus, did you want to grab a bite? Did you want to, like, if you wanted to raise the pitch on wanna, I think you could do something like that. Like, did you want to grab a bite? Did you want to grab a bite? Instead of want to grab a bite or want to grab a. Notice the pitch changes there. Like wanna grab. It's like grab doesn't quite get to the same pitch level as want. It's like wanna grab a. Wanna. Did you wanna grab a bite? Grab a bite. Wanna grab a bite?
Did you want to grab a bite?
Grab a. So I probably would have lowered the pitch a little bit. If you want to have that higher pitch on wanna, then I'd maybe have lowered the pitch a little bit more on grab a. And I think that might give you a more natural progression there, personally. Did you want to grab a bite? Did you want to grab a bite? And also, again, on bite, just lower that pitch a little bit because I think it's a little bit too high and exaggerated. Okay. Emmanuel, if you have that second file and you want us to listen to it, you can put it in the document and we can listen to it. So I would be curious to hear that.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Yeah, because those are going to be the big factors there. In terms of other things, you know, I like the linking.
Did you want to grab?
Like, did you? Fine. Wanna, cool. And then the grab a part.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Grab a bite. You could even also on the like grab a. You could lower that pitch on just a little bit more. You can go a little bit more down on that. Okay, those articles are great opportunities to experiment, go a little bit lower, just to add some more contrast to what you're saying. Grab a bite. Yeah, but those would be my main comments there. Thanks for sending that file. I, as always, appreciate it. So he's going to send us that other file, which I am curious to hear. Okay, Emmanuel, when you send it, can you do me a favor, Emmanuel? Can you put it right underneath your Can you put it, or you know what? Can you put it in like the where are you now? If you could put that link in one of these places here, just to make it easier for me to find, that would be helpful. Okay. Oh, Vladimir sent us 2 files. Oh my god. Get excited or scared. Well, hold up, Vladimir. Calm down, man. I know you're excited about many things, but I want to get through our original group first, and then we'll listen to our second batch.
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Riz, is this you?
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Okay. Pitch kind of dies at the end a little bit.
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Coffee. You don't sound overly excited about this invitation. It's like I'm doing it, but I don't want to. I'm doing this invitation because I feel compelled to out of politeness.
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Okay. But let's talk about the first part first.
Can I interest you in a
Kind of similar point here that we mentioned earlier with interest. You want to try to keep that more of this the short I sound for interest. So I still feel like I'm hearing a bit interest versus n, just like the preposition in.
Can I interest
Can I in versus can I in? Can I interest you? Part of this could be too that everything's a little bit high in terms of your placement.
Can I
Can I versus can I Can I? So the first thing I would say is, hey, can we get this a little bit lower, a little bit more open? So starting from the beginning, like, can I? I said, can I? Can you do more? Can I interest you? Can I interest you? Can I interest you? Okay. Try and keep that placement in that same spot. If you find that to be a little bit difficult, my recommendation is always go back to your schwa sound. I think going back to that schwa sound is a sound people are usually very familiar with. So can I interest you? In, or like you start off with like your sounds, like and then transition to your other sounds. It's like or like I, and things like that. Okay. So those are going to be some really helpful things there. It's like, can I? Give me 1 second, guys. I just want to check one thing. Give me 1 moment. In the meantime, hit to have you watch this, but check out our video again, just kind of highlighting our Telegram group. Give me 1 second. Please. I think your O sounds are a little bit tense. Take off the T on center. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So playing again this audio, we talked a little bit about the placement and pitches and things like that. Just some things to consider for that. In addition,
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Cup of coffee.
Interest you in a cup of coffee?
Cup of coffee. So one thing, so what you're doing with of, notice that you're using some of that V sound, right? Cup of coffee. Okay. One thing that you'll often hear, like a cup of something, a lot of times that V sound will actually get removed. So you're just left with like the vowel. It's like cup of coffee. Now there's nothing wrong with saying cup of coffee. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Just kind of letting you know what are some other things that you may hear. Cuppa might actually be a lot more common than saying cup of coffee. Okay. It might actually be a little easier to say as well.
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Okay. If you wanted this to sound more genuine, like you're saying this to someone and you really want to invite them to this or things like this, or for the coffee. I think your intonation right now is a little bit flat, so we need to just kind of raise it just a bit.
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Is it coffee? More coffee? Can I interest you in a cup of coffee? So I think it's really all about that last word. I said coffee. That sounds kind of bored and uninterested, versus coffee sounds more like a kind of a genuine question. Can I interest you in a cup of coffee? Versus can I interest you in a cup of coffee? Okay. So just kind of something to be aware of. I'm not saying that the way you're doing it is wrong, but just in terms of, if someone listens to this, what are they going to hear? In the current way, they may hear some disinterest.
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Yeah, so those would be my major comments there, especially with regards to placement in the beginning, and also with regards to the ending and the intonation. Yeah, and I totally understand recording something 5 times. You're just like, I'm done. I tried. I did the thing. It's over. I totally understand that as well. As always, I think the vowel sounds are coming across very, very clearly and things like that. Just see if you can lower that placement for that first part. All right, but thank you for sending that. I, as always, appreciate it. Let's see who is next.
Do you want to go a bite?
Ooh. Speaking of like strong stress, it's like, do you? Play that in a moment. This is our second sentence. And by the way, guys, if you are just joining us in the live stream, welcome. Great to have you. If you've never been to the live stream before, can you say, hey, this is my first time? Things like that. We love seeing people stopping by for the first time. And maybe you're lurking in the background. Maybe you've been to our live stream before, but you've never sent anything. That's okay too, But when you feel compelled, when you feel ready, when you are prepared to have your own pronunciation analyzed and things like that, that's something you're interested in. What you can do, is go to the very top of our chat box. You will see this link. And from this link, you will be able to go to our document where we take your pronunciation files, we listen to them, and we give you some suggestions and things. And it would be great to see. Hello, for instance, to Marcin, Marcin. Hopefully, at least one of those is maybe close to being correct, maybe. But it's great to see you. Thanks for saying hey. If you send us a file, let us know. If you're afraid to, you can let us know too. You can just be like, I'm scared. Or if you're just like, hey, today's not a good day. You can let us know that too. That's perfectly fine. Let's take a look though at our file here.
Do you want to grab a bite?
Do you want to grab a bite? Very heavy you.
Do you want to grab a bite?
Hey, do you want to grab? So I think that you is just so strong. It almost sounds like accusatory, like you're overly excited or accusatory. Like, do you want to grab a bite? Like, I would tone that down a little bit.
Do you want to grab a bite?
Do you want to grab? If you want the you to be a little strong, one thing that you can do is to shorten the amount of time between you and want. So instead of like, do you want to grab a? You like, do you want to grab a? Do you want to grab a? Do you want to grab a? Do you want to grab a?
Do you want to grab a bite?
Do you want to grab a? Do you do more? Do you want to grab a? Don't raise the pitch quite so high and try to get from you to the next part a little bit faster. And that can still add some emphasis to you, but not make it stand out quite so heavily.
Do you want to grab?
Mayo asking the important questions: is it do you or did you? I'm personally, for this one, I'm hearing do you. If you guys are hearing did you, let me know. But I'm personally hearing do you. It's whatever.
Do you want to grab a bite?
Grab a bite. Grab a bite.
Bite. Do you want to grab a bite?
Bite. Do you want to grab a bite? Do you want to grab a bite? Bite. One thing you could do too is you don't necessarily have to drag out bite quite that long. You could make it a little shorter.
Grab a bite.
Instead of bite, could you just do bite? Do you want to grab a bite? Do you want to grab a bite? Do you want to grab a bite? I don't think it would be like bite. It's just no, you could shorten that a little bit.
Do you want to grab a bite?
Besides that though, again, let's talk about linking in things.
Do you want to grab a bite?
Want to grab a? I like that middle sequence. Want to grab a? Lots of linking there, lots of reductions, nothing sounding stressed. Those are all things that we want to hear.
Do you want to grab a bite?
Vowel sounds placement.
Do you want to grab a bite?
You. I do think for you could probably get a little bit more open. Okay. Ooh, you. Do
you want to grab a bite?
Because I'm hearing you versus you. Just a note.
Do you want to grab a bite?
Bite. I do think bite is pretty open.
Bite. Do you want to grab a bite?
Bite. Okay, Joe, I think that sounds okay. Ooh sounds tend to be tricky sounds for a lot of people because most languages have an ooh sound. So it's very easy to kind of resort back to your first language on the ooh. But just remember the ooh sound in American English is more ooh. It's not as much ooh or like ooh and things like that. It's more ooh. It's just a note. Okay, but Marcos, thank you for this file. Hope those suggestions and things were helpful. I appreciate it. Okay. I know some people have been asking some questions about files, which I appreciate. I know Marcin sent in a file. Cool. I know Vladimir sent in a file. That picture too is just so that's great. And we'll be taking a look at your files as well soon. They just came a little bit later. So give me a moment. We're almost wrapped up our first group. Then we'll be taking a look.
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee? Okay, give me 1 second. I want to get that one. Can I interest you in a cup of coffee? Let's hear that again.
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Can I interest? Again, I think a little bit with interest, kind of like we've seen with a couple people today. Just want to make sure that interest is having that low open sound.
Can I interest you in a?
So again, I feel like I'm hearing interest versus again interest. So let's continue to watch out for that.
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Cup of coffee. Cup of coffee. So notice that in comparison to an audio file we heard earlier, compare how they're saying cup of coffee here.
Coffee? Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Cup of coffee. So again, notice that that the sound or that F sound on of typically is going to get removed completely, and it's just going to like you're just left with the schwa sound, just a cup of coffee, cup of coffee. Supernatural way of linking of the following word after it, and just being left with the sound.
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
I like your pattern here. Can I interest you in a cup of coffee? Can I interest you? Can I interest you in a cup of coffee? You know, in terms of the rhythm, you know, where you're going high, where you're going low, I think this has a very natural progression. The placement, like we noted earlier, is a little bit high for can I interest, that part in particular. But in terms of the general movement and progression of the sentence, that's a very natural flow. I really do like that.
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
A cup of coffee. I also really liked your intonation there on coffee.
Coffee?
Coffee, coffee. You know, not dragged out too long. Quick little rising intonation there to again show it's a question. Yes, no question. I like that movement. Pretty good. Okay, pretty solid work here. Just take a look at that first part for that placement. Okay, but I really do like this. Yeah. Marcos, thank you for sending that as well. Okay. Let's take a look at our next one too.
Did you want to grab a bite?
I'm going to have to do this one a little bit faster because the audio is a little bit low.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Do you want to grab a bite? Do you want to grab a bite? Do you want to grab a bite? Again, this is the case, another situation where I think doesn't sound overly enthusiastic about this meal.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Did you want to grab a bite? Yeah, did you want to grab a bite? If you wanted to just add a little bit more energy to this sentence, what I would say is on bite, raise the pitch a little higher. Do you want to grab a bite? Do you want to grab a bite? Stuff like that. Versus what I'm hearing
Did you
here.
want to grab a bite?
Grab a bite. Grab a bite. You know, it does have the highest pitch, but it's still, everything's kind of hanging around this like mid-level pitches. And see if you can just raise that a little bit more. Just add some enthusiasm.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Okay. Also helps add some contrast as well to make things stand out a little bit more. Do you want to grab a bite?
Did you want to grab a bite?
Besides that, again, good linking.
Did you want to?
Did you wanna, again, typical reduction, typical pattern there, which is great.
Grab a bite?
Grab a bite. Okay. Yeah, so that's definitely going to be my big suggestion there for bite. I'll just go a little higher on the pitch.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Want to hear a little bit for the short eye on did?
Did you want to?
Do you hear that like did?
Did you want?
Did you wanna? Can you get a little bit more short eye on that? So instead of did, can you do more did you wanna? Okay. And in fact, one way if the short eye sound is tricky, you could again reduce this further. You could just say, do you wanna grab a bite? Do you wanna grab a bite? Okay. So instead of did you wanna, you could just do you wanna. Okay, that's another way that you could say that first part. Just a note. But I think that was you. Thank you for sending that audio file. I appreciate it as always. Okay, let's jump to this first one here.
Did you want to grab a bite, Josh, aka Fluent American? Also, can I offer you a cup of coffee? If not, it's fine. I'll just drink it myself. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha.
The laugh there was so like weak, like not like a real laugh, but just like ha 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 ha. I enjoyed that. Quick note: Josh is the guy over at like again English Hacks, but I'll pass along the word. I'm Jeff. I'm sorry.
Did you want to grab a bite, Josh?
I want to hear that first. Did you wanna?
Did you want to?
Did you want again? Kind of similar notes to what we saw in the previous audio too, where see if you can get more short eye on did. Is it did you? Can you do more? Did you?
Grab a bite, Josh. Did you want to grab a bite, Josh?
Did you want to grab a bite, Josh? That's a little bit of a weird pattern there. Grab a bite, Josh. Did you want to grab a bite? You probably still want to have the rising intonation on bite. Okay, instead of that falling intonation. Instead of grab a bite. You want to grab a bite? Do you want to grab a bite, Josh? Do you want to grab a bite?
Did you want to grab a bite, Josh,
Is it bite or bite?
aka Fluent American?
Also a little bit tense there on the AKA.
Josh, aka
AKA. Letters tend to be very difficult sounds for people to reproduce because a lot of people are, again, making them a little bit tenser, a little bit more closed off. Do you hear that, like AKA, AKA,
Josh, aka
AKA versus AKA? Again, this is all about placement. A little bit lower, more air through your throat. Like now things are getting blocked off. So you're getting like K versus K, K. Or for instance, you're getting E instead of A. So again, these are just some opportunities to kind of keep in mind for your letters being a little bit more open to let more air through. Okay. And also trying to lower your pitch just a little bit. Because right now it sounds a little bit high and a little bit tense on some of those sounds. Okay. Yeah, someone please clip the laugh though. I'll play it again. Where is that laugh? Someone clip it and send me the link.
ha 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 ha.
Other things.
Josh, aka Fluent American.
Can also again, that's again the high placement there on the end sound like can versus can. Okay, so again, a little bit lower, a little more open.
Also, can I offer you a cup of coffee?
I want to hear that. Can I offer you part?
Can I offer you?
Can I offer you? We could probably link that a little bit more.
Also, can I offer you?
Can I offer you? Can I offer? Can I offer? See if you can join that together a little bit more. Can I offer? Can I offer? That notice how weak that the end sound is, right? Can I offer? Can I offer? Okay. I'm not actually making contact with the top of my mouth. I'm actually keeping my tongue pretty low. Can I offer?
Also, can I offer you?
Because otherwise it gets really choppy, right? Can I offer you? You're right. It's just a little bit choppier. It's not as smooth.
Offer you a cup of coffee? If not, it's fine.
It's not. It's fine. One thing there, I want you to listen to how he says fine.
If not, it's fine.
Fine. Fine. Okay. This is something that we see a lot with the letter N when it links with vowels. Is what a lot of people are doing is they're adding a vowel sound before the N. It's like fine versus fine. Fine. You want your vowel sound to go right to your N. Don't add a vowel sound before it. Okay. So you don't want to say fine. It's more fine. Fine. Ein. Making sure too that again your placement for that N sound is low and open. Fine. Okay.
I'll just drink it myself.
I'll just drink it myself. Self. Watch out for self with that sound. Self.
I'll just drink it myself.
Self. You hear that self versus self. Okay, raise the back of your tongue, but also the middle and the front. Okay. Try to get more air through your throat though. So it's not self. It's more self.
It's fine. I'll just drink it myself. Ha 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 ha.
That laugh is gold. Thank you for sending the audio file. As always, I appreciate it. Oh, that's great. One moment, guys. Thank you for your patience. Okay. Just a note, of course. Okay. Is this the file we just heard? New soundbite for future videos. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna. I'll be taking notes. Just note you may hear a very loud bell sounding in a moment. Is this the file we just heard?
Did you want to grab a bite, Josh?
Okay, we have 2 files from our original group. And then after that, we'll be listening to people who have sent me files since then. So, for instance, Marcian, I see you, Vladimir, and Mimo. Those are the big ones that I see. Okay. I'm just waiting a moment just for our... we'll stop sharing just for a second because that's going to get loud. Don't blow out your ears. Okay. Sorry about that. Share my audio again. Try to make sure we all have a pleasant experience here on the channel. That's what we do. And by the way, again, if you're joining us for the first time, say hello. Be like Jeff, Fluent American. This is my first time in the Schwab Mill. It's the first time listening to people's pronunciations. Great to know. And if it's your 20th time, you can say that too. Or if it's your 100th. Or I don't even know how long we've been doing these live streams for. Let's take a listen to our next one here.
Josh, I know we just met, but can I interest you in a cup of coffee? Within a yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the yeah at the end. Yeah, it's really open at the end. Yeah. Yeah. That's just great.
Josh, I know we just met.
I'm a little bit confused by this part.
I know we just met.
I know after the I know I'm a little bit lost.
I know we just met.
It's like I know what you I'm a little bit confused by that part. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry if we didn't get to your file. But thank you so much for joining me. Always great to see you. Enjoy your nameless, faceless dreams and things like that. Hope to see you in a future stream. Great to have you. Let's take a listen again.
I know we just met, but can I interest you in a cup of coffee? Can I interest you?
Can I interest you again? Maybe a little bit for the interest again with the short I sound, just slightly, like we mentioned earlier.
In a cup of coffee? Within a yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say again, there were several points in here where the clarity, they kind of fall off, and I wasn't entirely sure. If that happens when you're talking, what are the reasons why when you say something, sometimes people can't understand you? I mean, that could be happening for a variety of reasons. So just kind of like talk about that for a moment, because I think this is important stuff. Like if you say something and people don't understand what you're saying, just some things you want to be mindful of. Actually, I do want to record this. Okay. Hey, this is a beta. We checked out one of your files. Be sure to go backwards a little bit, because we checked out one audio, or was it two? I forget how many it was. Give me 1 second. Okay, but yeah, if you're ever like saying something and you feel like people aren't understanding what you're saying, here's just a quick checklist of things you can kind of run through to see if these are the reasons why people don't understand you. The first thing is that maybe you're just using the wrong vowel sound. Like maybe, for instance, you use the ah sound instead of the schwa sound. So people heard like lock when you wanted to say look. So that's the very first thing. Another thing is that it could be that your words are running together a little bit too much. We talk a lot about reductions and using reductions, and reductions are certainly necessary in your speech to get a more natural sound. But it can be that your reductions and your linking maybe there's not enough differentiation between your words. So everything kind of just jumbles together. Okay, so just make sure that, if you're reducing things, that there's still some clarity. The one issue with that could be causing the problems with your linking and your reductions is that there's not enough contrast. So if you're using reductions in your speech, if you're using linking, you want to make sure that you're using high pitches, but you're also using low pitches. To give you an example, let's look at a prepositional phrase. Like if you say like in the house, you don't want to say in the house, in the house, because that's really hard to understand. But if you do like in the house, in the house, notice that what I'm doing is I'm starting at my midpoint, then I'm going a little bit lower with the, and then I'm going back up with house, in the house, in the house. Having those sorts of progressions, inserting more lower pitches into your speech are some techniques that you can use to just help separate the words you're saying, so that way people have an easier time understanding you. Okay. It's not just about having higher pitches on your stressed words. It's also about having lower pitches on your unstressed words, and in terms of adding some clarity. Okay. Yeah, just once or twice. not super often at all. I'm just kidding. I mean, in general, I think your clarity has gone up way. I'm hearing much more clarity in the files you're sending lately. Yeah. Is that what he was saying? Maybe. I'll listen to the file again. I honestly don't remember anymore. But I will take your word for it that it was do you, or do you, or Jew, or things like that. Okay. Another question here. How do you say insignificant in a colloquial way? Good question. Look at me staying hydrated. I'm so good. Insignificant. Insignificant. That GN sound you don't want to hold really long. Okay, so for insignificant, insignificant. Don't spend a lot of time on that GN. Make sure that again you're really focusing on the vowel sounds like eh. It's like insignificant, insignificant. You also want to really stress that third syllable and weaken all the other syllables. Insignificant, insignificant. Other things too is you want to use a held T at the end. So it's not insignificant, it's insignificant. Hold it, don't let the air out. Okay, so those would be my big suggestions for saying insignificant in a more natural way. Hopefully that is helpful. All right, we have more files, which we are always excited about. At least I am. I don't know about you guys. I'm always excited to see more files. Is this the one we just heard?
I don't.
Yes. Last one from our original group. Oh, but first, want some slang. Z wants some slang. Oh, so not just talking about how to say significant, but she wants some slang words. Like, no, Jeff, give me some expressions. You can say like no big deal. Nothing major. You could say depending on a lot of these depend on context. But you say like like not worth mentioning. Like if, for instance, like if you get like hurt and you want to say like it's not that it's not a horrible injury or anything, like so like you say it's a scratch or just a scratch. In the sense of like just a little bit of something, like you can say like just a smidge. For instance, like it's not a big problem. Oh, it's just a smidge of a problem. It's not a big problem. Trying to think of some other phrases for insignificant. I don't want our distresses sound. Don't want our distresses to sound insignificant. So when you say that, you don't want them to sound insignificant. So you want them to sound significant. Am I understanding the situation right? Some other things you could say. Our distresses sound. Also say, for instance, like petty, minor. I just think not the end of the world, no big deal. Yeah, I would probably use one of these situations right now. If I can think of some more examples, I'll let you know. These are sound. That's gonna be nagging at me all day now. Beta's asking those questions that insignificant. Can you drop the G? Can you drop the G sound altogether in the word insignificant? Just say insignificant. I think if you reduce it enough and you say it fast enough, you can probably get away with it. For clarity, you probably would still want to have just a very slight G sound, like insignificant. Like even there, insignificant. It's kind of like a insignificant. Like I think if you do that sort of like type sound, excuse me, almost like Italian. I think you can get away with weakening that G. Just a note. She's worried the doctor takes her problems. In that case, smidge probably won't work. Problems like of course, now I'm drawing a blank in the middle of a live stream. Oh God. If I think of some more examples, that would be good for that. You may even hear like their small shakes, like they're she's worried. Doctor takes her problem. Joke. You can even say like a joke. That's he. As a joke. They don't really treat him seriously. Yeah. Good question. Hopefully one of those can work for those situations. Yeah, but I think joke. Like, again, no big deal. Treats their problems like they're no big deal. Like they're not the end of the world. Okay. Yeah. I would probably treat that as doctor treats her problems. As if they're no big deal. As if they were a joke. That's how I would do that, personally. Anyways, going back to our file. Zubeda, hope that's helpful.
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Speaking of Zubeda.
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee? Yeah, I think your rhythms here are a little bit more natural than the ones from the previous file. I do like what you're doing here. Let's get that. What's our sentence?
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee? So yeah, I like your rhythm. Your heaviest stress is on coffee, which I like. I like the can I interest you. I like that part.
Can I interest you in a cup?
I like your short I sound on interest. This has been a difficult word for a lot of people today, but I like your short I sound. I think it sounds pretty good.
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Cup of coffee. I like your linking there with a cup of coffee. Interest you in a cup of coffee.
Interest you in a cup of coffee?
Cup of coffee. If there were anything I would recommend adjusting or tweaking, they would be.
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Cup of coffee. Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Cup of coffee. A very minor thing. You could shorten coffee if you wanted. You don't have to drag out E quite that long. You take off a millisecond. Okay. And a cup of coffee.
Coffee?
Is it coffee or coffee? Coffee. Well, very slightly shorter on the vowel sound and maybe even a sharper rising intonation. In a cup of coffee. Can I interest you in a cup of coffee? But these are all very minor things. In general, I like what you're doing. In this sentence, I think it sounds pretty good.
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Similar notes also for interest. You could probably reduce interest a little bit. You don't have to drag it out that long.
Can I interest you in a cup?
Can I interest you? Your sentence really kind of, in terms of the flow, it really slows down a lot on interest. So I would say, hey, can you shorten that? Don't have to drag it out quite that long. That would be my big thing there. But yeah, I like what you're doing. Great stuff there.
Cup of coffee?
Give me 1 second. I need to save that. All right. If you have any questions about anything I just said there, be sure to let me know. But yeah, thank you for sending that audio file. I, as always, appreciate it. Okay. All right. I know some other people have sent us some files, which is great. I do need to scout them because I don't want to send you guys anything inappropriate and things. Okay. Mimo sent us a third one. Oh, and Emmanuel sent us a second file. Let's want to hear that really quick. Okay. While I'm playing this, again, just a quick reminder that, hey, we do this sort of practice every single day in our pronunciation group on Telegram. So if you're interested in getting your own pronunciation feedback from me and another American English pronunciation teacher, Lenora, she's great. We do this every single day. So if you're finding this helpful, you can visit patreon.com/fluentamerican and get more information. Okay. But just to give you a quick preview of that. Eel, please. I think your O sounds are a little bit tense. I'm getting a lot of O. Take off the T on center. Yeah, Emmanuel, I'm listening to your the second one you sent, and I like that a lot more. I do like that a lot more. See, Mimos, I'm checking out right now. Okay, this is a great time, too. If you guys have pronunciation questions, be sure to let me know.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Okay.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Cool, Mimo does the
Wanna
repetition.
grab a bite?
Cool.
Want to grab a bite? Can I interest you in a cup of coffee? Can I interest you?
Cool. Mimos, those sound good. Marcin, check this.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Do you want to go? Okay, cool. Got that one. Great. See, we are singer potentially. Oh my god.
folks. Today, Donald Trump, will be the one singing, whether you like it or not. Baby shark, doo 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 doo.
Oh god. Oh, this audio. Oh my.
Folks like my singing.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's all I can say. Oh my gosh.
Did you want to grab it?
Where did you for Vlad? Oh my gosh.
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
This sounds like you just for Vladimir, it sounds like you just like voice to text with like a Russian accent. This doesn't even sound real. Oh my gosh. Okay, for the sake of time, I'm gonna have to just do the ones that I just did because I don't know if we're gonna have time to do everybody's. Again, I do see we have some questions as well. Why does intonation not follow intonation? I mean, you could say intonation, I guess. But yeah, you're right. Usually with intonation, you usually pronounce the T, which is a bit interesting because it's not on that stressed syllable. Yeah, I don't have answers. You know, what I would say with like, you know, the silent T to N plus T, usually if you have the N plus the T sound, like an interview or center, the T is not pronounced. Why intonation does not follow that rule, I don't have a great answer for you. It could be because of the language it comes from. Yeah, great question. These are things that, you know, with all pronunciation, quote unquote, rules, you know, you probably don't actually want to think of them as rules. You want to think of them as guidelines. There's always going to be exceptions to them. Including in this case. Do you want to grab a bite? Why did we use the past tense in the sentence? Did you want to grab a bite? You can also use the present tense. I just think that when you hear this being said to people, like if someone says this to their friends, you'll hear both. You'll hear the simple present and you'll hear the simple past. And I don't really have a great answer as to why, but you do have some flexibility in terms of what you'll hear. Yeah. I'm sorry. I wish I had a better answer, but yeah, honestly, you'll hear both. I don't know why. What a horrible answer, Jeff. Sorry, guys. But let's go back to our files. Okay. Mima, I don't quite know if we'll have time to look at your third one. I think I'm going to have to just kind of wrap up with the ones I have here because I do have to run to a class after this, unfortunately. But we'll be able to check out at least one or two. Let's listen to this first one.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Yeah, it's like this is the one that Emmanuel sent. Just spend a second on this. This is one Emmanuel sent where he lowered the pitch on one instead of had it so high as in the previous time. And I think this sounds more natural.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Yeah, I think that's a more natural pattern, honestly. Thank you for sending that other file. Appreciate that. How about this one here?
Did you want to grab a bite?
Yeah, I know you sent a number of files. I want to focus on this first one.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Did you want to grab a bite? Let me find our sentence again. Because this is the one that we're operating on.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Did you want to?
Did you want to grab a?
Did you want to? Did you want to? So you're starting off with this really high pitch on did, which I think can work. I would just as an experiment, something to play around with, see if you can start this sentence with a lower pitch on did. So instead of did you want to grab a, can you do more? Did you want to? Did you want to? Did you want to? Go a little bit flatter and a little bit lower to start, because again, did's not really a stressed word. You know, you certainly can start a sentence higher, but it's not necessary.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Besides that, I like your linking and things like that.
Did you want to grab?
Did you? Then also with the wanna with the linking there.
Grab a bite?
Grab a bite.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Grab a bite. Grab a bite. And I like your B sounds. Grab a bite. Grab a bite. Not too strong, but still present enough to link the sentences together. I think that's done pretty well. Okay.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Yeah.
Did you want to grab a bite? Did you want to grab a bite?
Yeah. Another thing too, you could, for your held sound at the end for bite with that held T, you could also shorten your vowel sound a little bit more. Okay, bite, bite, Did you want to grab a bite? Instead of bite, or bite, bite. Okay, just very slightly shortening your vowel sound, just a touch. Okay, not necessary to do it, just kind of something to experiment with a little bit.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Yeah. But in general, yeah, I like that. I think it sounds pretty smooth. Thank you for sending that audio file. I do appreciate it. I'll take just a quick listen to the other ones.
Did you want to grab a bite? Want to grab a bite? Want to grab a bite?
Okay, again, I have similar comments about bite, bite. I would continue practicing a little bit those held T sounds just to shorten your vowels just a little bit more. Okay, but I like that you took off the did you part. And again, that's a very common thing you'll hear in American English, people taking off the did and the you or whatever the subject is and just left with like, hey, want to grab a bite? Want to grab a bite? And things like that. Okay, very, very common.
Want to grab a bite?
Yeah, super common reduction there. Thank you for sending that audio file. I appreciate it. Our next one.
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
I think this is you again. This is our other sense.
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Can I interest you?
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Can I interest you? Can I interest you?
Can I interest you in a cup?
Interest you. That's fine. You could if you want to. Again, that's something you have to do. Just something I would say, hey, experiment with it. Can you could probably do interest a little bit shorter. Make it a little bit shorter because it's not your primary stress. The primary stress is really coffee. So you could do interest faster if you wanted.
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Another thing too that, again, I think the general sound here is good. Everything I say here is just more things to experiment with, in terms of, applying things to other sentences you may say. I think that you're kind of staying around the same pitch levels for a lot of this. So I would say, hey, can you introduce some lower pitches? Where's some places where you could do that?
Can I interest?
Can I interest? Like, so that first part, like, can I interest? Can I interest? We can probably mix that up a little bit more if you wanted.
Can I interest you in a?
Can I interest you? Can I interest you? Can I interest you? Because like, see if you can go down. Like, can I interest you? Can I interest you? Can I interest you in a cup of coffee? Can I interest you in a? Can I interest you? So I think on I you could lower your pitch just a little slightly.
A cup of coffee.
Cup of coffee. So if you go down more on also the cup of coffee. Cup of coffee.
Interest you in a cup of coffee.
Also in the and the in too. Interest you in a. Can I interest you in a? Interest you in a. Interest you in a. Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
Yeah, just again add just a little bit more contrast to your speech. So play around with some of your lower pitches, just take them an extra step lower and see how that sounds. Okay, but again, I think you're already the general progression that you're using. I think is already pretty natural sounding. I think this sounds pretty good. Okay, thanks for sending the audio file. I appreciate it. Hopefully that gives you some helpful things to consider in the future. Next one here.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Okay, Marcy, I think this is you.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Did you want to grab a bite? Again, we kind of mentioned this earlier. It just kind of sounds to me a little bit disinterested, a little bit. Okay, so some things that you can do to, if you're genuinely asking this to someone and you're excited about it or you're looking forward to it, but you don't know if they want to, we probably want to make this sound a little bit more dynamic. Can add a little bit of energy to it.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Especially on the end part. Like, did you want to grab a bite? Did you want to grab a bite? You just kind of die at the end.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Bite. Another thing too, so this is a yes/no question, right? So you're expecting probably more rising intonation. Okay, bite, bite. Did you want to grab a bite? Okay, the other thing too is that bite is you probably want bite to be your primary stress. And the way you're saying it right now is you're making one of the weaker stress words. Your heaviest stress might be wanna.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Did you wanna grab a bite? So yeah, so wanna to me sounds like your heaviest stress, but like want, when you have want, in a sentence is it's. Oh no, I'm not sharing this. Ooh, give me 1 sec. Thank you so much for the note. A little bit late, but hopefully this is still helpful. Let's hear this again.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Like, did you want to grab a bite? So again, it just kind of dies at the end there.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Okay, so you can hear that on bite, right? So bite is the word that you want the heaviest stress on. So bite is the word that you probably want to have the highest pitch on. Okay. Right now, it sounds to me like wanna is your word that has the highest pitch, is your stress word. And typically when want appears in a sentence, it's not the stressed word. You're like, I want to go. Like, hey, I want to leave. Or I want to stay. I want to eat. You know, typically it's whatever that base verb is that comes after want. That's the word that typically is going to receive the stress. Okay, so add some stress to bite, reduce stress on want, use rising intonation on bite, because right now you're kind of using falling intonation.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Bite, bite. Did you want to grab a bite? Versus bite, bite. Okay, so again, more rising intonation because this is a yes/no question.
Did you want to grab?
You have some good linking. It's like, did you wanna? Did you? And then the wanna. Cool.
Did you want to grab a bite?
Grab a. You could probably even link grab a little bit more. Grab a. I would say that again like 3 times. Grab a. Try to weaken your B sound because right now your B sound's a little strong. Okay. You want to instead draw more emphasis to your vowels.
You want to grab a bite?
Okay. Yeah, those are gonna be my big suggestions for this file. You know, I think you're doing a lot of the little things that can help sound natural. Okay, so like the linking, things like that. I think you have some stress. You have some play with pitch. Keep going. Raise that intonation at the end. Add some extra stresses. Raise your pitches. Things like that. Just going to help this sound a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more natural. Okay. Nice work. Thank you so much for sending the audio file. Hope to hear more from you in future streams too. Okay, last couple files.
Folks, today Donald Trump will be the one singing, whether you like it or not. Baby shark doo 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 doo. Oh, let me catch my breath. Folks, I'm not singing.
All right, well that's your song for today, everybody. Thank you, courtesy of Donald. We've been visited by so many people. I'll just leave it at that. So many people today.
Did you want to grab it?
This is the one that to me just sounds like voice to text. Like they just put in something into like Google and then switch the accent to Russian speaking English, and this is what you get.
Did you want to grab it?
Some of the stereotypes Russian sounds.
Did you want?
Okay, so if we're using this as a model, some things you want to watch out for are the short I sounds. So did. So notice not did. It's more did. Emphasis on the vowel sound. It's a short I sound. It's not an E sound. That last D sound you want to make a little bit weaker because it's not did. It's more did.
Did you want to grab?
Did you want? You know, it should be more did you want? Did you want? Okay, so link the D on did with the U. It makes that did you, or did ya, or just ja. Did you want?
Did you want to grab it?
Want to, again, not very common in English to hear want to, especially in like rapid speech, conversational speech. Much more likely to hear that as like wanna, okay, or want to. That's just a note there.
Grab it. To grab it.
Grab a bite just got erased to sound like.
To grab it.
Okay, grab bait versus grab a bite. That just sounds completely different there. Yeah. But thank you, Vladimir, for trying. It was a great attempt. And our last one here.
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
A couple of things here.
Can I interest
versus interest. So again, it's not interest, it's more interest. Notice that American English typically makes that into 2 syllables instead of 3. It's not interest, it's more interest. Okay. In terms of American English, more common way to hear that.
Interest you in a cup of coffee.
You in a
cup of.
You in a versus you in a. Again, more linking, reductions of consonants, weaken your consonant sounds, weaken that N. It's not you in a, it's more you in a, interest you in a.
A cup of coffee.
How do I do that?
Coffee. Coffee.
Coffee.
Cup of coffee.
Coffee. Versus coffee or coffee. Coffee or coffee would be the more standard ways of pronouncing that in American English pronunciation. It's just a note about that.
Can I interest you in a cup of coffee?
You in a interest. Notice that they're also adding stress onto you.
Can I interest you in a?
Can I interest you in a versus can I interest you in a? So you don't want the you to really stand out typically. Okay, typically be reduced. Okay, that is going to conclude our audio files and things for today. So you guys have heard a variety of different accents and files from some notable leaders among out in the world, deceased and otherwise, or at least they stopped by. Thank you guys for spending part of your Saturday with me here at the Schwab Mill. We run this live stream every single Saturday at this time, and the goal is always the same. We listen to your pronunciation files. We use that document that we showed you throughout the stream, and you can send in your pronunciation files. We listen to them. We use that link every single live stream. So if you are lurking today, you didn't want to say hi because you're being shy, or you didn't feel comfortable sharing your audio file, that's okay. Whenever you're ready, we typically update the live stream, that document, on Thursdays and Fridays. Okay, so in the future, you can use that same link. We also have it in the video description, and you can add your audio file so we'll be able to hear it next time. But once again, my name is Jeff. Thank you for spending part of your Saturday with me. I know you have lots and lots and lots of American English pronunciation, channels and resources out there. So the fact that you came to, this channel, Fluent American, to get some suggestions and some tips for American English was very meaningful for me. It's great to see you here. I hope you guys see you in the next live stream and things like that. Have a good day. Have a good night. Have a good afternoon. And I will see you guys a little bit later this week. Take care.